Hey, everybody!
Hey, hey everybody.
Welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. It's Wednesday edition.
That's
As you can
that's
see, huh?
it's Don't Worry Wednesday edition.
It
It's like,
is.
oh wait, what?
Yes, and we're live. Yes, we are live. Strawberry Scarlet. Welcome.
Hey, welcome.
Welcome, Cherry. Welcome, Martin, Lay, Kendra, Cherry, Jeff, Princess, all kinds of people. Welcome, all of you. Wow, Saiki. You guys are awesome.
Wow, there
Uh,
are a lot of people here. That's awesome.
Yeah, wow, it's great to see some folks that haven't been here in a while. Sophia, Turtle,
Sophia.
yeah, wow, good. So, well, this is Don't Worry Wednesday. You guys that have been here before, you know the drill. We are here to handle any issues, challenges, complications in your life that you might be having. Just feel free to post them in the chat or on our website. Princess has posted the links up there. I will post it again just to be on the safe side. Boom, that's our website. Or you can send an email to dww@bss.studio and post a challenge you're having there. If you'd like to remain anonymous, just let us know, and we will keep your name off of our conversation, so you can be anonymous. So yeah, we're not professionals. We're not therapists or counselors. We're not a substitute for that. We're just friends, and we want to help in any way we possibly can, offer some perspective, some advice, and mainly love and encouragement to help you guys as you go through whatever challenges you might be facing. Fully believe in you guys that you're smart enough to figure a lot of these things out on your own. However, sometimes we can be blinded by the issues that we're facing, and to have a fresh set of eyeballs looking at it sometimes can help and really put a good perspective on it. So I am Joe, also known as CDVNL. With me is Ryan, also known as Static P, and right now he is a static photograph
Hey, hey.
because he has
Static photograph. That was well played. Static P. Nice. That's what the
yes,
P stands for, photograph in this sense.
exactly. That's why it makes so much sense.
That's perfect, Joe. Well done. No, we're experiencing some. I'm currently on vacation, and if I share my screen, everything turns green, on and pink, and then my computer dies. So,
Mm,
um, yeah, it's
yep.
not a very strong computer here that I have available to me, but
Yeah.
yeah,
And apparently he's very sunburned.
yeah, I am quite sunburned. It's not the terrible. It's not terrible, but I would show you. Like, seriously, I would. I don't mind, but Mike, I'm afraid my computer is gonna crash.
Well, we don't want the computer to crash.
All
Plus,
right,
it's
let's.
as
You want to
entertaining
start
as it is to have Ryan be green. One of the things we noticed in our figuring out how this was all working with his computer was his speaking, like the words did not match up with his video. Like his video was lagging way behind his words, and so it
it?
was just
Definitely
really tough. Tough to deal with. That's one of the, I don't know if it's one of the pet peeves of mine when I see audio that's not synced
not
up
sick.
very well.
Oh yeah, no, that's everybody in the world's pet peeve. I'm sure of it. I'm
Ugh,
sure everyone's like, "Ugh, why is this? How can you focus? Can't pay
yep.
attention when the video is so distinct." Yeah,
Yeah. I can't remember which service I was watching this on. I was watching a movie one time, and the audio was not synced up with the video. It was like it was really far behind. And it
uh,
was so frustrating. I was really upset because it was a movie I really wanted to watch, and it wasn't synced up, so I had to stop watching it because
yeah. It just
it was
annoying.
awful.
Nice, Tef. You look seeing forward to seeing Brown, Static P when he returns from vacation. I like Princess's version of it. A very red tan.
A very red tan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sunburnt. I'm not flaking. Uh That's
You're
not dead.
lobster boy.
Flaking off from my forehead. No, that's just that's a very red tan. And that's other stuff up there. That's just you're just imagining that part. That's all on you. I don't know why you would do that to me, but that's weird imagination, whatever.
Yes. Well, hey, that's all good.
Hey, Psyche. Nice to see you.
Yeah. So welcome anyway to all of you, and thank you all for being here. Our chat room hostess is Princess Yellow. You can just call her Princess. She's amazing. She is one of the most amazing people in the world. Also,
in the whole world.
The whole world, all of it. And our
And
producer
everyone.
for these streams is Jesse. You guys probably know Jesse, but he's awesome too.
Yeah. We say we get this started.
Yeah. We should get this started. What do you think, Ryan? Should we get this started?
Nope.
Oh, Ryan says no. I guess we're done.
What do you say we get this started? Nope, never mind. I changed my mind.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we've got kind of a backlog of things here. So we're gonna see who's here, and let's see, and which we got to go here. So we've got one from Angel, we've got one from Uni, we've got one from Kendra. But I think did we do Kendra's last time?
We did. It's hard.
The Guilty Crying Mess. Let me look at that.
We just got one from Master Lay live.
Oh, we did.
Still typing it out though. Oh no, it's finished. Wow, man. Hey, thanks.
We got one from okay, Kendra. We did do Kendra's.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's right. We did Kendra's, but we didn't get to her boyfriends.
Right. We did not do Epsilon's. Epsilon, if you're here or when you show up, you will be first on the list.
Kendra, go get Epsilon for us. Just kidding.
Yep. And we've got one from Princess. We got a couple from Akil, one from Dead, Kishin, Pokemon fan, and Matt, an introvert who likes to share. And Matt, if
there's also an anonymous one. We've got a lot.
We do. We've got quite a few. So, and we've got this new one from Lay.
So let's try to find out who's here.
Well, I know Princess is here. And that's all.
Oh, that's all so far. All right. Of everyone that is here, there's some people here. Thank you all for stopping by. Even if it's just for a moment, that's still healthy for you. A moment of healthiness is better than no moments of healthiness. So thanks for joining us.
Yep. And looks like Strawberry's got a new one coming. She's putting one in. Okay.
So is Princess is the one we're on right now then probably, yeah?
Yeah, but she says to go past hers. Kishin is here.
Oh, Kishin is here?
Yeah. So, Kishin, there you are. All right. Excellent. We will do Kishin's first.
Excellent.
Then, so here is the link to Kishin's topic.
How do you put yourself out there when you don't go outside?
Yes. That is a good question. And we will expound on the question here in the post. So this comes from Kishin. Kishin, thank you for posting. And it's great to see you here again. So this is Kishin's topic. Says, I am a homeschooler who has absolutely no incentive to go outside except for a couple days a week. But I also have maybe 2 people I would call good friends. And one of those will be getting a job soon, and I won't see him regularly anymore. I'm on many Discord servers, but one of the few where I actually relate to people generally calls me retarded and tells me to shut up. I am retarded and probably should shut up more, but it isn't particularly encouraging. I live in a very small town without much going on that interests me, and I don't relate to many people here because they are almost always super focused on sports. While really the only sport I enjoy is Smash Brothers. I
Nice.
started going to the gym, so I'm physically fit and healthy, and I haven't been depressed in a while, but I haven't found anything to replace actually hanging out with people face to face. Generally, if I relate to someone, it's over games, anime, or depression, and none of those things are really worth building a relationship on. I'm not a social person, and social functions seriously drain me, even though I really do enjoy them. All I want to do is travel because the best time of my life was when I went to Mexico and met a bunch of people who were totally different from me, but also at the same time exactly like me. But my parents are super grounded and hate being gone for even a day, and they never try something they aren't sure of. I just can't get out of the house in any meaningful way, and the isolation is driving me up the wall.
Mm.
And that is from Kishin. Kishin, thank you. That is definitely sounds like it could be a challenge. So I'm gonna get out of Ryan's way. I'm gonna let him
Oh,
handle it.
no, take your time figuring out how to be in my way for as long as possible. And by that I mean, wow, I don't even know what to say yet. Um, yeah, this is something I have to give you props for, just because um most people who don't get out of the house also don't even want to get out of the house at all. They're not looking for any advice on how to get out of the house and do something or how to meet people. Most people that are kind of in your position, it seems, especially those who are depressed or etc. They're really into video games and anime and that sort of thing. Like they're not looking for opportunities to get out of the house. They're looking to just kind of recoil and be by themselves, and then just crave friends and never get any. It looks like you're going out of your way to do so, and you want to. And I just want to give you big props for that. That's so awesome. That takes a lot of courage, um, to be willing to do that. And um, I, 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 I applaud you. I think that's really cool. Um, I can relate to kind of going out and meeting new people, people who are different, but they also are similar, and just enjoying time with either whether they're strangers or acquaintances or friends. Um, there's a certain part to physical physically hanging out with people um, that I think we all kind of need. Um, it is important, and it's a different feeling, a different sensation if you've been away from it for a while. Um, if any of you have been away from physical contact, or physically being with friends and hanging out with them, um, I implore you to go out and try to do that sometime soon and feel what that feels like. But yeah. So, Kishan, just props to you so far. Also for putting this in the chat and looking for some solid advice or ideas, on how to overcome this, you know, uh, situation. Besides that, so, um, it sounds like this group that you're in, like the one that you referred to that calls you retarded. Um, uh, here's something important, I think, that everybody probably should hear. The best friends in life are the ones that are looking out for the best for you. Those are the best friends in life. The best friends are the friends that make you the best version of yourself. um and if you've got people who are, you know being bullies, or picking on you or calling you retarded, etc., um those aren't the kind of people that are going to help you in life. Sometimes we like to be around people because it gives us comfort or joy, but sometimes that joy isn't what's going to help you any at all. There's a such thing as pleasure, which is good. It's not evil. It's good. Um, But pleasure in itself, I would say, can be bad. Um, you don't gain happiness by chasing pleasure. Pleasure only lasts for the as long as 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 long as the act which creates it. If you really like, um, uh, I guess if you like watch a show for example, a lot of times you'll gain pleasure from that. But as soon as you or like play a video game or whatever, as soon as you turn the game off, you're no longer feeling pleasure from it. Happiness, though, on the other hand, is something that sustains beyond when you finish. So if you, for example, find a game that once you turn it off, you feel more fulfilled, you feel happy, you feel satisfied, you feel like, um, that something that lasts for a long time, a joy that lasts for a long time. Um, First of all, I don't think I've ever really experienced that from a game outside of just um, maybe when you make friends in a game, but just the game itself usually doesn't supply that sense of happiness. And the same thing can be true for friends. Um, Certain friends, they don't make you feel like a better person. They don't satisfy you. They don't make you stronger. Um, and so ultimately, my point here is recommend finding a different group of people. Um, Not that that's that easy. I understand the world we live in. It's not easy to find people who genuinely are looking at you and looking out for you. That can be very hard. And usually those people that are the type of people that are physically in your life, who are not necessarily online. But sometimes you'll meet people online like that too. Um, but my point here is, yeah, just consider consider not hanging around the people that are just subjects of pleasure for yourself. Um, if they're tearing you down and they're not building you up, then it's not worth your time. Um, and that's just how it is. Now, if you're willing to give them a chance and continue giving them chances, I think that's good. That's very healthy. That's good to do. It's nice to give people chances, and not to judge people too harshly and that sort of stuff. I think that's good, but um, I don't think you're there to help them become better people so that they can treat you better. You know, I don't think that's why you're friends with them. So that's just a recommendation. Obviously, your question isn't necessarily about that, but it's just a side recommendation. Um, as for getting to know people out and the world around you, um, there's a couple things I could suggest. I don't know how old you are. Um, you know, we live in a different world now. You can't just go to some some eatery that's a hangout joint, and everybody hangs out there and you just meet people. But then again, you kind of can. It's called the bar, and I've never done it. And you probably won't meet great people, but maybe you will. You never know. Um, that's really the only place that I can think of that you can just go and meet people that are looking to meet people, um, outside of sports activities. You might find a sport that you enjoy, um, or you can go to the gym if you like to exercise, or even if you don't, it can be healthy for you, and you have the money to spend. You can go to a gym and you can meet people there while you exercise. There's a lot of people who like to hang out at the gym and just talk for hours. As weird as that is, but
Mhm.
there are people out there that like that. So if you don't like sports, but you know that you understand that physical activity can be really helpful for you, um, you could try the gym. Another thing that you might be able to try is going. I guess if there's any kind of convention or anything near you, when that happens, meet as many friends there as you possibly can. Get their numbers, and then if there's anybody that lives around you, you can just go hang out at their house or whatever, or ask them to come over and hang out with you. I mean, that's totally acceptable and totally cool. Um, if you go to a convention of some sort, um, and find people. If you're into anime, then yeah, you should be able to go to an anime convention. Lots of people who like anime, like video games, like a lot of the same stuff you do. So, it's quite likely if you find your way, if it's available to you to go to an anime convention, um, you can totally meet people there. There's a lot of people there who are going specifically to meet people, just like you will be. Um, and you'll fit right in. And yeah, then you just exchange information and then hang out. Find ways to go to the mini golf or something and hang out playing mini golf, or you know, just invite them over to your house or their house, whatever. That's a workable method. These are just some examples off the top of my head without really being able to think about it for so long, because I've never had this problem myself. I never really thought about it. It's a great question though. So I like to see what Joe has to say about it, and there's a chance that I'll have more to add on to after Joe's talking, but don't count on it because this is something I've never dealt with myself. Um, so yeah, I want to
Well,
hand it over to Joe.
okay. Um, Ryan, that was awesome. I didn't hear all of it because I was busy posting a new topic in the forum that we got an
Oh,
email.
yeah, no, that's
Um,
cool.
so I didn't hear everything that Ryan said. I did catch bits here and there, and then a bunch of it at the end. Also, Kishan, I see that you posted here that you work out, but it's with your mom. So when you go to the gym, it's with your mom,
Mhm.
and it's only for a short time. And yes, physical exercise is why I am sane right now. LOL. And
Yeah.
I think, you know, there's a lot that can be said for that. I know for a fact what happened in my life when I started uh, physically exercising. How important that was for my well-being, my mental well-being, and when I don't exercise, how hard it is for my mental well-being. Like when I fall off the wagon for a while and stop exercising for a while, it just everything kind of rolls down. Like for the last few days, I was fairly sick. Excuse me. So I had a cold and I was coughing and full of mucus and grossness and everything, and so I didn't end up working out for a few days, and and then I was like, wow, this is really starting to affect me just these couple days because I'd been in the habit of being there. But that's a really, really good lesson for everybody who's going through any kind of challenge. Like that can really, really help you clear your head and keep your mental well-being in a good place. And that is through physical exercise. It doesn't have to be crazy, hardcore, going nuts at the gym, like be one of the beefcake crazy people. But just to do something where you're exerting yourself physically, just a little bit beyond what you're used to, can really, really make a big, huge difference. So I'm glad you mentioned that, Kishan. And there was a long time in my life when I only had a couple of really good friends. There were people around me that I was acquaintances with. There were people around that I was friendly with, but I wouldn't have considered them my friends. I wouldn't have considered them close friends. And, but I, it's tough because, these people, I love them to this day. But I never really had that close bond like I did with just a few people in high school. And, so if you've got a couple of good friends, that can be some folks that you can really rely on. And if you don't get out very much, um, I don't know, like Ryan was saying, I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you are able to drive or get out if you wanted to. But one of the things I did, because I struggled a lot with meeting new people. I remember moving to a new city and I didn't know anybody except the people that were at my workplace. And I didn't really hang out with them at all outside of work very much. And, I figured I had to go meet some people. And so for a while, what I'd do is I would just go around to some stores that I didn't know anything about. I had one that really sticks in my mind. I went to this place that was all about like bird hunting, like pheasant and grouse and that type of bird. Like that was like their thing. It was their niche. So it's like all the accessories to go with bird hunting and the the gear and all that stuff. So okay, Kishan, 16, no license but a bike. All right, don't plan on driving till you're 18. All right. So if you can get out and about some, I would just go out to places and I'd just start looking at stuff and I'd run into some people. And as far as striking up conversations, the book that really helped me with that was How to Have Confidence and Power in Dealing with People. That book by Les Giblin. We will have a link to that at some point. But that book made a huge difference for me as far as striking up conversations with new people. Because here's the thing about friends. Every friend that you have ever had, there was a time before you knew them. There's a time when you didn't know them. And everyone that you met. Except for your parents. I mean, your parents, they were like there the day you were born. So you've kind of known them from day one.
You met them on day one.
Yes. Right. So you weren't around long before you met them. But everybody else you met at some point. Now, sometimes we get introduced by other people, and that's always helpful. It's a helpful way to meet new people is when others will introduce you to others. But if you just need to meet some new friends, now you can just go out and go look at different places, go find places where you are into something there, and maybe you can talk to the person behind the counter, maybe you can just get to know them a little bit, ask people about them and notice things about them, and a lot of the tips and stuff in that book were really helpful for me as far as doing that. So I tell you, that's one thing you can do. If you like travel, I know Ryan mentioned go to some conventions, and you said in the chat that the conventions are kind of expensive from time to time. So that totally can be the case. And but you don't necessarily need to do that in order to meet new people.
Yeah.
One thing now, I don't have very many friends outside of this virtual community now. Like I get to hang out with you guys on Wednesdays and Fridays, and to see all of you in the chat and to get to interact with you is a lot of fun. I was never in an online gaming community like Ryan has been, and like I'm sure you have been, Kishan, or maybe are right now. But that's another place, because you don't necessarily have to get together with people in person to be their friend.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, Ryan and I have experienced this, where all of our interactions are digital, where we're online or on the phone. And then when we get together in person, it's weird.
No.
What's that?
It's good weird.
It is. Yes, it's good weird. Yeah. But just because we're so used to we're used to being at our desks in front of our computer or whatever, and having these conversations there on a screen, it's when we're actually in the same room with each other, it's kind of weird, it's fantastic. It's great time spent, but it's just different. So that's definitely something you can do as well. Don't limit yourself to the servers that you've been on, especially if there are ones where people are mean to you. I would definitely try and stay out of environments where people are just picking on you all the time. There are environments like that in my life, and I know I never really did very well in those. Also, I've noticed it in my kids, how their emotional, roller coaster goes when they're around certain people that pick on them a lot. they get angry easier, they get sad easier, their negative emotions well up. Even though when they're being picked on, it's all in good fun, we're just having a good time, ha ha ha, but it's still the sarcasm and being picked on, it has an effect on people.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's just all in good fun. So you got to really, really be careful of, picking on other people or being sarcastic. Those are things that if you're in the habit of doing it, I understand it can be a lot of fun. And I know that when you're ribbing people back and forth, it can be a good time. But I would use that very sparingly. And I would stick to being nice and encouraging and building people up and loving them. And people will thrive and will flourish emotionally in that type of an environment. So I would look for other environments online like that. Ones where people are building each other up. You can go to, obviously there's bss.studio you can be at. You can be here in the community at Don't Worry Wednesday. Also on the Static P Discord. I'm sure there are a lot of good people over there. I've only been there a little bit, so I'm not sure of everything that goes on over there. But that's something also to check out. So I don't know. That's pretty much what I have at this point. So Ryan, did you have any other things to tie this up?
Just a couple more examples of, again, online friends are just as good and just as real as you know physical friends that are 3 feet away from you. It doesn't really matter how far they are from you. Guys are communicating, etc. I mean, a friend is a friend. A person is a person. Um, excuse me. So online friends, like Joe was talking about, are really great, and cherish them if you have them. And what I wanted to suggest is that, there's a lot of different things outside of like Discord even, um, that you can make friends on. I remember I used to go to, whenever I felt like, hey, let's make a friend or something, where I just wanted to chat, or sometimes it happened on accident, but I would go to like anime websites where you can stream anime, and they have like little chats there where people are just always on talking. Um, and that's kind of how I started off talking. Well, not really, but one of the main things I did talking and learning how to communicate with people is going there and just talking to random strangers. Don't be afraid to message and talk to random strangers, because here's the thing. It doesn't matter what you say a whole lot. They're going to respond. And the more stupid of a thing you say, the faster you get out how they're going to react when bad things happen. Are they a good person or are they a bad person? You find out quite quickly when you say annoying things. So you don't have to really worry about what you say. Because you can instantly just say, okay, well, I guess that person is not someone who I want to continue communicating with. They're not very nice. I'm going to go find somebody else. But the other thing is like what Joe was saying. I've said it many times, but when it comes to dealing with people, the most important thing is basically to make them feel good about themselves. Help them have a good time. Help them to see the good in themselves, and you'll make friends quickly. If you go around complimenting people on their shoes, right? It seems silly, but people like their shoes. People pick their shoes out. It's a part of them for a lot of people. Some people don't care about shoes at all, but it's just an example. You compliment to people, and they'll be glad that you did. And that's kind of how you make friends. You just be nice to people. Find something about them that maybe they spent a little bit of time on. You can study up on a person just kind of through your conversations. Always be uplifting, but make them feel good about who they are. Is the best thing you can do. You can try all day long to make them feel good about who you are. Not going to do you any good, because people don't care about how impressive you are or how impressive you look. People care a whole lot more about how impressive they look to you. A lot of times you worry about how other people see you, but most people are worried more about how you see them. If you show them that you see them like they're awesome, and you show that to themselves, you say, hey, this is what you got going for you. Look at these things. And you point it out to them. You show them that you are paying enough attention to see those things. And, some people are not going to know how to respond to that, but they're going to like it. They're going to feel good about that. They're going to be like, wow, I like this person. They make me feel good about myself. There's no person that can walk away from an experience like that and say, oh, I would never want to have any more of that. That was terrible. Most of the time, our greatest friends in life are the people, or rather the people we're most attracted to, I should say. Not maybe not the greatest friends in life, but the people we're most attracted to are the people that we enjoyed being around.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, what makes us enjoy being around person is that person made us enjoy ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You show somebody that they're awesome. Like, I mean, you can think of anybody, Kishan. Think of the people that you enjoyed being around the most in your life, right? The people that you love the most. I bet you think about those people and you'll find, oh, those people made me feel good about who I was inside. And if not, then go out there and search for that person that is like that. And you'll find a friend that is true and worth your time till the end. So
Mm-hmm.
I wish you the best of luck, Kishan. That's an interesting obstacle. But yeah, you can find a lot online, and hey, you never know if you're going to find somebody that happens to be someone that you'll eventually meet in real life,
Yeah.
Even if it's online.
There are a couple updates here, Ryan. Kishan says, I have almost no confidence issues initiating conversation. I do have issue with worrying about what I have already said, and I suck at keeping relationships up. And he said, and relatability is not compatibility, and that's what I struggle with so much. So I would encourage you also, compatibility is one of those things that it's kind of it's a relative scale. Compatibility is, you can be compatible with just about anybody. And I've found the thing that's helped me a lot is when I am good at listening and paying attention to what people are saying and listening to their words in order to really hear them and then ask more questions, about what's going on. I find that I can be compatible with just about anybody. I just get to know who they are. And then that's another person that I can get to know. And it's so funny because I got to the point where I was the person always doing that in a conversation, where I was always the one asking the questions and listening and letting people talk about themselves and drawing them out and just listening and letting them talk and making them feel welcome in my presence. Like Ryan was talking about, that's such an important thing. If you can just make people feel good about themselves when they're around you, that's huge. So anyway, I had been the person doing that for a long time. And then I remember actually meeting some of the parents of one of my sons, one of my son's friends. And we went to pick up my son from they were hanging out at his house. And so we went to go pick him up, and we were there with the parents for a few minutes, and they just asked me questions about me for about 10 minutes, just because and I'd answer their question, and then they'd ask me another question about what I had just answered, and then I'd answer that, and I'd talk a little bit more, and then they'd ask me another question about what I had just talked about there. So they guided this conversation. And after that, I realized how powerful that is, because they made me feel so welcome and wonderful in their presence just by being interested in me and my job and different activities that I was a part of. I ended up telling them all about being a property inspector and telling them about Black Static and Swerve and Don't Worry Wednesday and everything. It was crazy. And that whole time, after we left, I looked back at that situation. I'm like, they just did to me what I've been doing to other people for years. And now I see what that feels like. I felt great, to be around people that just are welcoming and interested in who you are. And so if you can develop that interest in other people, you'll have absolutely no problem with compatibility, because you'll just be compatible with everybody when you're willing to do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then keeping a relationship will be no problem at all either, because they will want to be around you so much because they feel so good being in your presence. And when Ryan said that part, that hit it right on the head. It was so perfect, because that's exactly what keeps relationships and expands your compatibility to be like with anybody. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really cool.
Yeah, I used to worry about that a lot too. But you don't have to relate to somebody to get to know them. And getting to know a person can help you relate to them.
Mhm.
I was recently in a car. We were driving Uber, which is something I've never really done before until lately. Anyways, we were in an Uber, so it's like a taxi, and the person up front was like talking. You know, um, I would open up the conversations based on their reviews. So we drove a couple of Ubers, and so like one of them was like, "Hey, so I said I saw the review said that you're an excellent conversationalist." And then they would sit and they would be up in the front and they would laugh and they'd chuckle, be like, "Haha, nice," and and then they would usually reply with a reason. You're like, "Oh, that's probably because I'm pretty well traveled." Um, and I was like, "Oh, really? Why? Where did you go?" And then they would say like, "Oh, I was in the airport," or I lived with my mom for a while, and she used to have a job, and blah blah blah, or whatever. You know, they would explain it. So it's really, if you're worried about opening up a conversation, almost anything works.
Mm.
As long as you're actually interested in them. If you're
Mhm.
interested in the person, just ask questions.
Mhm.
Your first statement doesn't have to be a question, but it can be. One of Joe's lines that I always thought was just great was, "You guys having fun today?" I like that one because it's so weird. It's not
I
like
answer
how you
that all the time.
it's not like how you doing or what'd you guys do today. It's just like, you guys having fun yet? It's like that's a weird question, but really you can open up with anything. I mean, if you're in person and you look at them and you look at their pants, you look at their shoes, you can see things on them. You look at their hair, you look at their skin, you can comment things that you like, wow, you have a really nice skin tone. Or it looks like you take good care of it. Or my mom loves talking about people's eyebrows. She's like, "Wow, you have such neat eyebrows. I like your eyebrows." Um, that's that's my mom's gig.
That's her thing, man.
Yeah. I'm sure Joe has been,
Yep.
yeah, see?
She
Um,
likes my eyebrows.
yep. You have nice eyebrows, Joe.
I do. I do.
Uh, so anyways, there if you're online though, and you're worried about what you can converse about, a lot of times people are already having a conversation on communities or whatever before you get there. Um, but and if they are, you just comment on one of their comments and ask questions to them directly. Usually ones that you would think that they would find interesting, like, oh, ones that make them feel smart. Oh, people love that. To ask people questions that you probably even know the answer to already. But if you can find a way to make someone feel smart by asking them the question, that's that's awesome. They might be talking about something, and you can just say, "Oh wow, that's really interesting. How did you learn that?" Or where does can you tell me more about that? That sounds interesting. um, you know, People eat that stuff up. If you're initiating a conversation, again, it's easy. Just go up and talk. I know it's hard. I know, especially when you're self-conscious. Here's the thing: your consciousness will clear up if you start to force yourself to open up conversations and be really focused on the person.
Hmm.
The more you love the person, right? The more your concern is less about you and more about them, the easier it's going to be. But you have to train yourself to get there. And the way you do that is you force yourself or you pretend to be the person you're trying to be. You pretend to be that outgoing person that can just talk to people because really you are that person. You have all of the features that you need. You have fingers to type with, or you have a mouth to speak with. You have feet to walk with. You have the internet to travel through. I don't know. Anyways, you have everything you need. You just have to pretend to be the person that's outgoing enough to initiate a conversation. And once you do that, I mean, you've got it. You'll figure it out. um, the more you do it, the easier it gets. So, um, yeah, it's hard at first, and you have to work yourself up. Like, okay, let's do this. Oh man, this is scary. This is gonna be so weird. What happens if it goes downhill and they just like look at me like I'm a freak, and then they never want to talk to me again, right? Those thoughts will come to your head. Ignore them. They're not doing you any good. You just got to be like, yeah, but I'm gonna do it, and then you go up and you just force your body to move, and you do it.
Mhm.
And then you'll be surprised at how everything turns out. You'll making friends is easier than you expect. Um, just pay attention to them. But yeah, there you go. Good luck with that. I know.
Yeah, good luck, Kishan, and thank you for posting. Um, I hope that helps you. Uni, I see that you're leaving. You are actually next in line. You had a post back on February 22nd.
Ooh. Would you mind staying for that?
Yeah, Uni, if you can stay, just go ahead and post in the chat. And also Bree, Ryan may not see
Hey,
your
I love
post
you
in
too,
the chat.
Bree. Yeah, I'm seeing it now.
Okay, cool. I know that since Ryan's on multiple devices, I'm not exactly sure how much how much he did.
Yeah, I can see. Sometimes I look. Let's just say that. Sometimes I can look.
Yeah.
I love you too, Bree Bree. Thanks.
All right. Kishan, thanks again. Enjoy your meal. Thank you so much for posting, and I'm glad it was helpful to
Mhm.
some degree. Um,
Keeping your last comment, I'm just going to touch on this real quick. You said you love talking to people in VR chat. That's awesome. I've met a lot of interesting people, but I don't think I've kept up any relationships. That's all on how much you dedicate to doing that. Keeping relationships going, a lot of times, if it's not like you're both happen to be working together or in the same niche, it's it's all on you to do all of it. If you want a relationship to continue moving, then you got to keep on messaging them and keeping the conversations alive and having fun together. Um, and if you just, yeah. So I understand the difficulty of that. I struggle with that with myself, but I do know the solution is basically just messaging them uh, at least once a week, and you should be okay. So, anyways,
yeah.
wish you the best, Kishan. Thanks for the question. Much love.
Yes. And yeah, Uni, I don't see in here, so we're just gonna probably have to move on to a different one. So let's see.
Well, at least they said it was a great booster for their schoolwork. So that's we did something for them.
Yeah, that's awesome. So all right, so we've got Princess, we've got Bree. Do we have Matt or Epsilon? Or Pokemon fan or Dead? Ryan, do you know if Dead will be listening?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think Dad is probably fishing, or he might have just stepped inside just now.
Gotcha.
Who knows what he's doing? What he's up to?
Gotcha. Fishing for fish?
For real fish.
For actual fish?
For actual fish in the actual ocean.
Not like fishing with the PH?
That maybe that this. Well, I guess. I mean, he's capable.
That's awesome. Okay. So, all right, we have got. All right, well, let's just go with who we have now. We've got Princess, and we've got Bree. Leigh, I haven't seen anything from you recently. And then Strawberry, I know you were here before, but then probably said you needed to go.
Cool.
So
Whichever.
all right. Well, let's see. It's been a while since we've done one from Bree. Princess, you would technically come first.
It's been a while since we've done one for Princess too.
We did one a couple weeks ago.
Princess,
Or,
yeah.
no,
Princess
like
just happens to
a
be
week
here.
ago, we did one for Princess.
Oh, did we really? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. But as for Bree, yeah, we haven't done one from her in a while.
Yeah. All right.
Bree, where's hers?
Okay. All right. The chat says do Bree's. Okay. So we're gonna do Bree's topic. Bree, welcome back and thank you for posting. I'm gonna put the
Is this one just like very recent today?
This was today's, yes.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yes. So Bree the kitty posts it's called Just a Moment. It says, in just a moment, blah, blah, excuse me. I will start over. In just a moment, I'm down again. In just a moment, I feel like I'm drowning. In just a moment, I'm worse than I've ever been. My anxiety is even worse than it was. My mom, she's not getting better. There was a fight last Saturday, and I have a bruise. It's near the back of my ribs, so I don't think anyone has noticed. It doesn't really hurt, but the memory remains. Recently, though, I've hurt myself. It's gotten worse than it was, and I do it more often now. I lost a friend today, too. He did some horrible things, and I just can't be around someone like that. My thoughts get darker when I'm alone, and they're still there when I'm with my friends. I really just don't want to burden anyone. I want to love everyone, but I feel hollow when I'm alone. I lost Angel, and that hurt so much. It still does. I hate it, but they were so important to me. I feel like a mess, and I just want to end. I want it to get better. I want it to end. I want to be okay again, even for just a moment. And that is from Bree. Bree, thank you for posting. Thank you for being willing to post what you might be going through and everything. Oh, sorry, Jesse. I need to put the post up for Jesse too.
Yeah, thank you, Bree. It's always tough reading yours because yours are very very tough, very hard. What you're going through, very dark, and it's hard to read because you know, we want the best for you, and you're important to us, and we want to see you happy. We want to see you smile. We want to see you enjoying yourself and enjoying the life that you have, or whatever that life might be. So it's difficult for us, but it's even more difficult for you. You're the one that has to live through it. So, but thank you for posting. It's always nice to be able to, you know, talk with you about whatever it is. And it takes a lot of courage. You know, you say you don't want to bother anybody, you don't want to be a burden and stuff like that. And you know, that's something we've talked about before. You know, that's I totally relate to that. I'm the same. I don't like to burden people. I don't like to be a bother. I ask pretty much no one for anything, barely ever. Every once in a while I do, but most of the time I don't ask anybody for anything. I just try to figure out how to do it myself because I don't want to burden anybody or, you know, make anybody worry or whatever. So, I mean, I get it. But we appreciate that you shared it with us, even though you don't want to be a burden. And I think that's partly because you kind of give us content, so it's not really being a burden; it's being a help in a way. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of a cool relationship that we have with our viewers. So that's interesting. But it takes courage also to post these things. The way you post them is always very poetic, and I think I really appreciate that about you. um reading them is always also enjoyable in that sense because it is so well written. The way that you write is um, very creative, and it's cool that we get to share that creativeness with other people um, on here. So, anyhow, I'm gonna see if I can pop in the chat to see if anything has been said. Um, Shush Cody. Okay, cool. That's about all I missed. Um, so, um, anyhow, yeah. Um, so I don't know what happened between you and Angel or any of that. Um, it'd be nice to know, but at the same time, it's probably better that I don't. Um, having friends is important, and I respect that. Sometimes you have to push certain friends away. I don't mean Angel. You mentioned someone earlier that you said that what they did is just too horrible and you can't be around them anymore. Sometimes that's true. Sometimes people are, it's not healthy to hang around them, you know? It's not good for you, not good for them. And so it can be good to just get rid of people in a way, to remove yourself from them and love them from a distance, right?
Mhm.
Um, some people, when they do those things, when they do terrible things, sometimes you got to look at it and say, well, how do I help them? Sometimes you do have to take that action, um, and love them where they are. So, and just kind of, not judge too hard and just say, they're going through their stuff. I'm going through my stuff. No one's perfect. I just want to help them get through whatever they're dealing with right now. That's making them do these terrible things. Let's see if I can make an impact, right? But if you're not in a position to do that, um, or you're not in an emotional state to do that, right? Then the better move is just to walk away from it and just kind of end that relationship. And so I think I don't know where you are and all of that, but you probably made the right move there. Even if it was hard, I have to say uh, you did the right thing and good job for doing that. Um, so anyhow, um, going on to some other stuff here. You hurt yourself. I'm not quite sure how you've done that. I don't know if it was cutting or if it was just bruising yourself or whatever it is. But I mean, that's not good for you. I don't have to tell you that. And you know that you feel the shame of that and you don't like that about you. Um, but it's one of those things that it comes from it comes from a place of weakness, and it's hard to go against it when you feel weak. Like sometimes when our minds aren't in the right spot or we're feeling weak, we just kind of give in, you know? Because we don't have the strength to just say no, you know? So don't beat yourself up, okay? Um, uh, just try to keep on working at not hurting yourself. Just keep on working at that. I mean, I don't have to tell you that it's bad. Um, that would not do you or me or anyone any good. Um, and you're dealing with the shame with it. So I want you to just be thankful for all the times that you have turned that idea down. Anytime that you have had that desire to hurt yourself and you said, no, I'm not going to do it, not today. um, or even if it's just, no, I'm not going to do it, not right now. And all you do is survive for a moment. Maybe it's like you hold it off for like 3 minutes and then you give in, right? Or maybe you hold it off for half the day and then you give in. Um, I want you to be proud of that. Because yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, uh, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to get over addictions. It's hard to, um, you know, get over what you have here. So just think of those times or be when you're in those moments and you're not doing it, you're not hurting yourself, even though you want to, even though you feel weak and you're choosing not to do it. Um, be proud of yourself. Say it's okay to say, at least I didn't do it, or at least I withheld from doing or hurting myself for X amount of days or X amount of minutes, wherever you're at. It's okay to say, at least I did that for a period of time. That's good because that's an improvement. That's good that you are able to make that choice and overcome and control yourself, and that sort of thing. So you got to make sure you 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 are proud of yourself for that. I'm telling you to be proud of yourself, um,
Mhm.
and think about those things and be thankful. Um, you know, pray to God and say thanks for helping me with that for the time I had away from it, or thank yourself or whoever you want to thank. Right? Be thankful. That's important because if you want, the road to recovery over things like this that you're dealing with, um, there's a lot of paths. There's a lot of things, a lot of hurts and pains that you're dealing with. And I mean, we've talked about so many of them, Brie. Um, and I would wish none of them on anyone. Um, and I feel sad that you had to go through any of it, but I am always so proud of you. I am so, so, so proud of you for sticking through it, for being a wonderful, loving person. You are so, so loving when you come on these streams and you say, I love
Mhm.
you, Static. I love you, CVNL. We appreciate that so much. We
Mhm.
love that. We love it when you come in and and you give us some joy. Um, and so to me, that shows someone who has strength. Even if you might feel weak, you're also showing a lot of strength. You know, people say like they hate their fake smile, etc., because it's fake, blah blah blah. No, a fake smile shows strength because faking a smile when you don't feel like it, but you're choosing to try to be your best for other people. I mean, seriously, that's amazing. That is not something to be ashamed of. That's something to be proud of. So even if you come in here at any point in time and you're just like, I'm just faking being happy, but I'm not really happy. Well, that's awesome
Hmm.
because that shows how strong you are.
Mhm.
That shows your conviction. That shows how much you care. That's amazing. But I also believe there's genuineness to that too. You wouldn't do it if you weren't a little bit genuine. You want
Mhm.
to be happy, and you are a little bit happy when you come here to see the people that you love and care about, and you get to spend some time with them. Ah, that's awesome, right? Um, and we love that you're here with us. And we wouldn't have it any other way. I don't get to speak to you that much on Discord, but I do enjoy it every time we get to talk, even though it's only like, usually like very short. Um, and you have such wonderful artistic skills. Seriously, your art is beautiful. Your poems are beautiful. I can't wait to see all the stuff that you do throughout your entire life in the artistic realms. Because seriously, it's just amazing to me how creative you are. You are way better than me as a visual artist, that's for sure. And your poetry is way better than mine. You probably come up with it like in an instant compared to me, who's like, let me sit here and think and for like 7 days straight, and then come up with 2 lines of lyric. uh, you know, um, you've got some real talent there. All right, Ree. So be thankful for that. Just try to find things like that to be thankful for, because you have a lot of talent there. Um, and I understand you want it to end, all the pain, all the sadness, feeling hollow, um, your heartache. Uh, yeah, you want it all to end, and it's interesting because it's like what I like about what you posted there is that doesn't necessarily mean you want your life to end. You just want all of the pain to end,
Mhm.
and that's okay. And we want it to end too, Bray. We want it to end too.
Mhm.
Um, what I would suggest is probably what you've heard me say before. What I've always would suggest is if you want the pain to end, like you've got some things to take care of, right? Um, there's some things that you don't have control of. The best thing to do for those things that you have no control of is just to give them up. Give them up emotionally because you can't control it. And there's no reason to be emotionally controlled by them if you can't control them. You know what I mean? Um, so it's okay to just be, cry it out for a while, but then give them up, give them up, give them away. Like, so don't give them power over you. Just say they are what they are. Oh, well, you know, be at least neutral with them, you know?
Mhm.
You don't have to be happy. You don't have to be sad about them, but you can just say they are what they are. I can't change them. So, why worry about them? It is what it is. Because you have those things in your life. And you've got a lot of them, things that you can't control. Then you've got the things that you can control. Um, as for those, just keep on doing your best and be proud of yourself. Be thankful for all the times you've accomplished stuff. Look, when you fail, when you make a mistake, I understand the pain that comes from that, but don't let it get to you because that's already in the past. And your your accomplishments matter a whole lot more than your mistakes. Your accomplishments add up to something impressive.
Mm.
Your failures don't add up to anything. They're all just, zeros and negatives. They don't add up. They subtract. So don't focus on them. Don't give them credit. Don't give them time of day. Um, it's better to be proud of the things that you've done and oblivious to the mistakes than to be beaten and eaten alive by the mistakes and not willing to try new things. Now, the best thing you can do is look at your mistakes and say, "Oh, I can get better here." Like, all right, I got this, and then be positive about your mistakes. But I understand it can be hard to be positive about your mistakes. So if you're not quite there yet, it's better just to ignore them at this point until you get there. Um, and so and the last thing is just do your best to, continue doing your best to be joyful. Find the joy in life. Look out into the world and find the beauty. Because again, I've said this before. If you look at the world and you think it's crappy, you're gonna feel like crap living inside of it.
Mm.
If you look at yourself and you think that you're crappy, you're gonna definitely feel crappy living with yourself. If you look at your situations and think that they're all bad and you can only see the bad, you're only gonna ever feel bad, right?
Mhm.
So what's the opposite of that? Do that. You know what that looks like. You look at the world and you try to see good. I understand the bad will creep in. That's your mind. That's just how it is for now.
Mhm.
But it's a habit, and habits can be broken.
Right.
So you look out in the world, you look for the good. You look for the good. And whenever your mind tells you, oh, but that's bad too, you shut up. You shut up. You're not here for me. You're not doing good with those negative thoughts. Let me show you something good. Look out there. You see that? That Let me here's an example. This is incredible to me. All right. You guys are gonna think this is the mind of Static P. All right. This is how I look at the world. You guys are gonna think this is ridiculous. All right. In the ocean, there is an island entirely made up of garbage.
Hmm.
Human waste. It's plastic, metal bottles people throw in the water, right? I think that's the most amazing thing ever. Not really like the most amazing thing ever. I think it's awesome. And you're like, Brian, how can you be happy about that? It's people's waste. We shouldn't be throwing stuff in the ocean. I 100% agree. Okay. That is not okay to be throwing trash in the ocean. It's not what I'm saying it's awesome for. I say it's awesome because it's amazing to me that the ocean has its own way of cleaning up our mess.
Mm.
The ocean is made in such a way and it flows in such a way that it collects all of the garbage from around the world that's thrown into it and collects it in one place. How amazing is that? Yeah, we have to do our part. We have to do, we have to be cleaner people. Absolutely, of course. But isn't it amazing that there's an island made up of our trash that the universe is basically, or that the world, the earth, collected for us?
Hmm.
Said, hey, here's your trash. It's all in this island here I made just out of your trash. Come and get it. Like that's so cool. I mean, okay, so that's looking at something everyone would probably see as like this terrible, dark, gross, negative thing. I look at it and I'm like, that is so amazing. Okay? It's if you can do that, all right? If you can look at the world, anything that you think is bad, it's probably pretty cool too. Bad is just a matter of perspective. How much thought you give into it that's negative versus positive. So if you do that, Bree, if you just try your best. Now, of course, I don't expect you to be perfect. No one here expects you to be perfect. And I don't want you to expect yourself to be perfect too, either. You got to be able to forgive yourself, you know? Um, don't give into the darkness, you know? But forgive yourself when you do, you know? Because you got to have hope, and negative doesn't give you hope. It's the positives. You got to have joy, and it's not the negatives that give you joy. It's the positives.
Hmm.
Happiness is the same. All the good things that you want in life, they're good. They're positives. You got to go start seeing them. And so you have to train your eye to start seeing them. Look out into the world and see the beauty that's around you. Sometimes you have to take a stop. You have to take a step, out into the world and then stop and look at the flowers, look at the grass. Even if it's not your grass, maybe it's somebody else's flowers. Maybe you're a little bit jealous of it and you want those. You wish you had flowers like that. That's good. At least you're seeing the positive there. You say, oh, wow, those flowers are beautiful. I want to have flowers like that someday. That little bit of jealousy like that can be good. Envy, yeah, going out and destroying their flowers because their flowers are better than you. That's different. But jealousy and wanting something that's good is not bad. So I want you to go out, try your best, just see the positives. Eventually, your mind's going to get it and it's going to start following suit with the rest of your life. And because here's the thing, if you're focused on negative, then all you're ever going to see is negative. If, for example, if you get a new car, you'll start noticing everybody else has that same car. But you never noticed that before because you never focused on that specific type of car. Like you get a new car and you're driving around, you're like, oh wow, that person has the same car as me. Oh wow, that person has the same car as me. So the only reason you wouldn't have noticed those cars even. Your mind wouldn't even given those cars a second thought because they weren't the same as yours. It's because your mind wasn't focused on it before. Whatever your mind is focused on, like you'll start to pick out in the world around you. And so you got to make sure that that's a positive thing. If you think of all of the negative things, right? If your mind is always focused on negative things, all of those things are going to pop out to you. Oh no, this bad thing happened to me. Oh no, that bad thing happened to me. Or that bad thing happened to that other person. Oh, look at her. She's being, her dress isn't perfect. Look at that mustard stain on it. Whatever it is, right? All because you're focused on the negative. But if you're focused on the positive, then all of those things will happen to you and you won't even notice them. You'll be like, oh, look at that good thing that happened to me. And some people might be like, it's not a bad thing. Like, oh wait, is it? Well, I guess it could be, but it's more of a good thing, like that's going to be your attitude. So you really just got to start making sure your mind is focused on the good things in life.
Mm-hmm.
It won't change the reality around you. It won't make good things happen more, but it will make the good things more enjoyable, and the bad things, you won't care about them anymore. They won't affect your emotions anymore. They won't make you feel that pain anymore. Because that pain is a reaction to focusing on the bad things. If you don't notice the bad things, you won't have to feel that pain so much. And you can take joy in whatever is some people might consider bad, and you can be like, no, that's actually a good thing, you know? So anyhow, I'm sorry I've talked for so long and repeated myself like 400 times. Well, you know why I repeat it, Bree? You know why I repeat it? Because I love you. And I know you just want to hear my voice. No, because
Me too. I just want to hear your voice.
yeah, so I just say the same thing over and over and over. It's because sometimes you got to hear something over and over before you get it, and hear it multiple different ways. And sometimes I like to kind of go in a circle and end where I started, or at least explain a couple of things about the inner mechanics of our brains to a degree to help you be able to process that when I'm away, because I'm not always going to be next to you. But if I can walk you through the steps, you know, just tell you how I got from one thought to another, then you can do that on yourself when I'm not near you, and then you can help yourself. Right. And so that's kind of why I do a lot of loops and repeat myself. So I apologize to anyone who hears me do that. But yeah. Anyways, on to Joe.
Yeah, Ryan, you owe everyone a big apology.
I am so sorry. Everyone.
No, man, I tell you, go back and re-listen to that, what Ryan talked about. I mean, that was helping me in some of the challenges that I'm facing, because I think really one of the things to watch out for is, like, we have something that happens to us. We have a situation that, you know, comes into our life, or something we're living through, and then separate from that, we have what's going on in our mind. And that can make all the difference. The thing that's going on in our mind can make the difference of what our situation is externally. And I noticed this very recently in my own mind. There was a huge snafu with our health insurance, and so it's going to turn into quite a big financial issue for the near future. And you know, so that was happening, and I'm like, I'm watching this, and it hit us out of nowhere, like unexpectedly. All of a sudden, boom! Now there's this huge pressure, and we're like, oh my gosh, you know, we've got some medical procedures coming up, so that adds to the whole thing. There's all kinds of this that fits into this situation, and I'm like, man, that's going on, and in my mind, I'm just feeling this pressure, and I'm getting stressed about it, and down and down and down. I'm like, why didn't I figure this out sooner? And then I'm like, there was no way I could have, you know. And then I look back and how, like, different decisions I could have made that maybe would have prevented it or changed the situation. And I started going down that path, and I'm like, and this whole time it's just going down further and down further and down further and down further. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what could happen? And I noticed something. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about this. I'm like, wait a second. My biggest enemy right now is my brain, because this situation is happening outside of me. I know we can figure this out, but right now my brain is just going into this negative course of action. You know, it's like just going down this negative habit trail. And I'm like, what is going on? And I had to pattern interrupt myself quickly. Like, if you can learn how to interrupt a negative thought pattern, that can make all the difference in the world.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
If you're going down a negative path with your thoughts, and it's just boom, 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 before you know it, you can be really in a dark place. Like what I read in your posts here, Bree, like I can hear, once again, I compliment you on your posts, because they're so poetic, and there's so much feeling that comes through your words. It's absolutely incredible. And but I know that place, and I know that it's kind of like the result of one negative thought followed by another negative thought, followed by another negative thought, which then feeds into another one, which feeds into another one, and it just goes down and down and down. And before you know it, you're down in this pit. And if somewhere along the line you could have interrupted that pattern. Then it would have been a lot easier to flip it back to something positive. And I remember that happening when I was sitting there thinking through this, and I'm this negative, all this money and all this insurance problem and all this big deal and these expenses coming up and the surgery that's coming up and all of this stuff. And it's just boom, boom, boom. And it's weighing on my mind. And then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, stop. And I had to like check myself, and I like slapped myself mentally, like, wait a second. And I started to think about, you know what? This is a challenge. I like challenges.
Nice.
I live for challenges. In fact, that's the only reason I'm strong like I am now. And I'm a big, strong person, like I'm, hey, I'm awesome. Like, but the only reason
he's got biceps the size of my head.
Yeah. The only reason I have any mental fortitude at all is because I've been through challenges. Wait a second. I love these challenges. This is going to be a really big one. And you know what? I might fail at it the first time I try. But you know what? I'm really good at failing. That's another way. Lots of things I've ever done in my life, I've failed at a few times before I got it right. This is no different than that. And before I knew it, like I had flipped my whole mental pattern upside down. And now I was excited that I'm going through this problem because now it's a challenge and I like challenges. And I'm going to show this challenge who's boss, man. And it's going to be awesome. And at the end of this, I'm going to be the big hero and it's going to be sweet. And we're going to be looking back on this and we're going to be like, remember when that happened? Yeah, that was awful. Holy cow. But here's one thing. You can pattern interrupt yourself, and it doesn't have to be anything related to what you're thinking. You can interrupt a negative thought pattern with anything. Mm-hmm. So I would encourage you to think of Ryan's face on a shower curtain.
It's amazing. Have you seen it?
I was looking
my face,
for it.
The shower curtain.
I was like, please, Ryan, take longer because I'm thinking of this. I'm like, I want to try and find that photo somewhere, and I couldn't find it anywhere. If you know where it is, please post the link.
If you find it, please share it. If you have it, please do share. I'm not at my computer, so.
Princess can send it. Yes, somebody please send.
Oh, please do. Please
the link. Oh, she has it, but no link. She's got the picture.
Oh, you got
the picture.
Screen cap it, whatever that is. Yeah, I don't know.
But if you could, no, it's not available now, Akil. Sorry. No, we're,
available now. Akil actually wants it. I love that. Maybe we can do that as a reward for the up and coming thing.
Yeah, it's one of those things that we're like, hey, we're gonna see if it can be like a reward for a just like a limited run of something. But anyway, imagine that it could be something, and just something that makes you laugh a little bit or giggle. I noticed one of the patterns was interrupted by quoting the Static P song, "When the Darkness Comes." Mm-hmm. Like maybe it's just that, and that interrupts your negative thought pattern. But that's all you're trying to do in that moment where you start to feel yourself go boom, down and down and down. And if you're anything like me, you can get down a long way before you even notice that you're in a negative thought pattern. Sometimes it takes me a long time.
That's the way it is for all of us, I think.
A long time. It feels like I'm just down and down and down and down and down. And before I know it, I'm like down in this pit mentally and emotionally. I'm like, wait a second, how did I get here? Like, oh, I need to fix this because I know the situation that's happening in the world. I can't help it if I'm down in this, in the dumps mentally. There's nothing I can do to fix the situation when I'm mentally in a slump. I know the first thing I need to fix is my mind, and I need to get it back on track and get it back into the positive. And I don't have to necessarily be all the way positive, but I just need to get moving in the positive direction. I need to turn the corner somehow and just take the steps.
That's fair.
One of the things that wait a minute, what's going on here? I just saw my name pop up. Maybe you should be listening to Idle Bombing than CDVNL. I would rather listen to Idle Bombing than CDVNL every day.
No. CDVNL is great, guys. You don't even.
But one of the things that Ryan was talking about that was super important was he was talking about taking little steps in the process of doing this, in the process of changing these things, and just taking it one step at a time. And I noticed, Ryan, when you were talking about hurting yourself, if you can go half a day without it, and then maybe you give in to it, and then celebrate that you resisted for that long.
Sometimes, yeah, celebrate that.
Yeah, because those baby steps are going to make all the difference in the world. Those little itty bitty steps, especially when you've developed a habit that is hurting you in some way. Stopping a bad habit is very, very difficult. It's much easier to start a new habit and to start a new good habit. So if you want to end a bad habit that's going on, if you want all this to end, you want these bad feelings to end, you want these things, these are all habits that can be changed with starting a new, better habit. And you do that through those baby steps, like Ryan was talking about. Maybe the first day you just do it one time. Maybe the second day you do twice, and you work yourself into it. It happens that way with exercise. I've started to go to a gym in the morning, and I go there really, really early. And really, really early in the morning is when all the really serious people are there, man. They're all the people who are just like, and they've been doing this for a long time, and they're doing everything like professionals, and they're lots and lots of weight and all this kind of stuff. And it's crazy. And I look around and it's intimidating, kind of. So I'm just like, whoa, look at these people, man. It's crazy how they're, like doing this in such a great way already, and such large weights. And I'm looking around, I'm like, man, I feel like a big schmuck.
Yeah. I can imagine.
I'm like, well, you know what? Baby steps. I'm going to start small. And I don't even care. I don't care who's looking at me. I don't care if they're judging me. They're not judging me. They're too busy being serious about themselves. And if I make them feel superior to me, then great. I help their self-esteem. So that's awesome. So I'm just going to take the baby steps, and I'm going to start small, and I'm going to move up, because I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want an injury to stop me right at the beginning. I don't want that. And plus, if you try to do something all at once, then there's no way you can sustain it. It's going to be too hard, and you have a way higher chance of giving up, because it's too hard, and it's too big of a change, and it hurts too much. The best thing to do is to start moving, bit by bit by bit by bit, and just one tiny little step at a time. And before you know it, you're just like, where the heck am I now? I'm doing things that I never thought I would be doing before. I'm doing something now that I couldn't, that I would hope that I would have gotten to long, long time ago. And it was just one little step at a time. And I remember getting to that with drumming. I remember getting to that with guitar playing. I remember getting to that with performing on stage. I remember getting to that point with recording in a studio. I remember little moments where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm here. I'm here in this moment. And it took years of practicing a little bit by a little bit by a little bit. And then it was such a natural process. I had a lot of fun that whole time along the way, moving, going step by step by step, and I learned to enjoy it and I had a really good time. And now all of a sudden, here I am. I'm in this moment where it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't imagine I'd be up on stage and there'd be lights in front of me and there'd be a full crowd of people out in front of me cheering and clapping and waving and dancing. And I'm up here on the stage and they're listening to me play. And I was like, I remember being in the audience watching somebody play drums up on stage under the lights and being like, I want to be like that person right there. When I was like 5 years old, I remember watching that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be there. And then when I was in my 20s, it was before that, I was a teenager and I was up on stages. But I remember it really hit me in my 20s when I was up performing. And the crowds were bigger and the lights were brighter and everything. It was crazy. And I'm like, whoa, I'm here. I'm here where I wanted to be. I wanted to be there back when I was 5 years old. And now here I am. And I'm like, whoa. And it was all those little baby steps along the way. So Bree, it's not going to change overnight. Like Ryan said, it's going to take step by step by step. And it's going to take little steps in the beginning. And they're going to grow and they're going to get bigger and you're going to grow as a result.
I thought you were going to say, and you're going to get bigger. And I was like, eh.
Well, when you're a child, we get taller.
That's true. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's true. Mm-hmm. That's okay.
But learn to pattern interrupt yourself. If you can figure out something that makes you smile or laugh, if you need to carry around a picture of Ryan on a shower curtain with you. So
why me? That's funny.
And there's a link to it in the chat.
Oh, is it
right there? Let's see. There it is. It even, oh my gosh, it even says I love you.
Yes, it does.
I'm reposting it. Oh, that's not it. That's the post. Sorry.
Have a wonderful night, by the way, Tef.
Yeah, Tef. Thanks for coming. There it is again. That is a great picture.
Now that is a great picture.
That is a great picture. And that can interrupt your thought pattern. If you're having a negative thought pattern, that will interrupt it for sure. But anyway, Bree, thank you so much for posting. I'm going to turn it back over to Ryan, see if he has anything to finish up. But thank you again for posting, Bree.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I got the link open, and that is such a weird picture. What is that look on my face even? Like, what is that look?
It's awesome.
It's not even like a smile. It's just, oh my gosh.
It's awesome.
You're awesome.
You're awesome.
All right. I love you when it says above it.
It does.
Ridiculous. It looks sincere, at least. I love you. And it's like, oh wow, that's something out of a movie. Okay, anyways. Outside of that, yeah. No, what Joe said was super, super important, super awesome. I was really glad that he went through some of those life experiences and kind of went more in depth into taking baby steps and being proud of yourself for whatever baby steps you take, that was great. I don't really have anything to add to it, so I'm just going to let it close with that. That was really good. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Bree. Thanks for posting, and hopefully you can check out the shower curtain link.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be available to you for checkout.
Yeah. So how many times am I going to post it? At least one more. There it is.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I will post it again and again and again.
If she comes back, you'll have to post it to her.
Yeah, Bree,
You'll
if you
need
come
this
back,
for
we'll repost
later.
again.
When you listen to my broadcast, or when you listen to my part, you'll need this for late.
Yeah.
Take this with you.
So thanks again, Bree. You are awesome, and we love you super a whole lot. And we're so glad that you're here. And keep coming back. So I've noticed that Epsilon is here.
Ooh, yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
And Epsilon, you've been so patient. We have your post right here, and you are next in line.
Yeah.
Epsilon is feeling hollow. And here's the link to that topic. And I'll make sure I give it to Jesse too.
Did we do Akil's taking things in moderation? It doesn't matter. We'll do it another time if we need. That was a side question. It's just possible that we didn't do it.
We have not done that one from Akil yet. And yeah, so.
Okay.
Sophia says, hello, welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday. To get a sense of who you are, for whoever's new here, have this picture.
Nice. Nice. Hey, Sophia. Long time no see. I'm so happy to see you, by the way. I love your name every time. I love your name. It's my favorite name. One of my favorite names. Sophia. Yes. Sophia. However you want to pronounce it. I like it either way. And so do you.
Yes.
You don't get to choose.
I do love it.
Yeah.
Too. So, all right. Well, Epsilon Galaxis, thank you for posting and welcome back. And so we're going to go through your topic called Feeling Hollow. And Epsilon writes, there are times I just feel like I'm nothing but a dull, broken doll to others, like as if no one wants to actually associate with me. I barely feel any motivation for the things I have enjoyed in life or felt important. Every night I can barely grasp any sleep at home. I can't seem to hold a conversation with anyone, even the few who actually try talking to me. I barely even get it, hey, how are you, from those that I know. My parents already have more than enough crap to deal with. My girlfriend is nervous enough about special things in her life, and my brother is still recovering somewhat from life giving him a curveball. I'm scared every time I try to speak to any of them, it will just make things worse. It's bad enough whenever I just try helping or listening, I get pushed aside or fail altogether to be the help they need. I know I'm rambling now, and I'm sorry. I guess I just wonder sometimes if I'm just a burden to my loved ones and they just won't tell me directly because they don't want to hurt my feelings. Though I'm not sure what I have left in my heart sometimes or what that might be. Epsilon, thank you so much for posting. And
yeah,
wow, that I definitely can relate to that feeling that you have. I've been there before, and it's definitely a painful situation. So I'm gonna turn it over to Ryan and let him get started.
Thanks. Yeah, it is it is something I think a lot of us can relate to. So there's a couple of things I'd like to talk to you about here. Epsilon, again, thanks for posting this. The first thing I want to talk about is something that you really covered more so at the end. So I'm working backwards here a little bit, but you're worried about being a burden to your loved ones. I get that. I always try, like I said earlier, not to be a burden. But here's the thing. Every one of us carries some sort of burdens in life. And we kind of, on accident or on purpose, kind of include those around us in those things. When we're down, it puts the other people around us, makes them feel down. I mean, something you talked about earlier is, not being able to carry a conversation or continue one, or, people not coming to you to have conversations, etc. It's probably because you don't feel lively enough. And you said that you feel hollow. If you feel down, right? Um, and that's kind of what you people pick up on that, I suppose. People can kind of pick up your how you feel. And if it's kind of negative, they don't really want to be around that. That's just how it is. Um, People don't just generally chase after um people who feel down. People don't generally want to go and talk to the people that look depressed. But if you look lively, if you look like you've got, you're full of self-esteem, um, you know, people generally look at those people and try to really get associated with them and be around them, because they're like, oh, that guy looks like he's having fun. I want to be a part of that. I want to enjoy myself. You know, um, so that's very natural. We don't want to burden others, right? But we do no matter what. That's the thing. We do no matter what.
Mm.
And you might be holding back some, but when it comes to loved ones, it comes to family, here's something important you need to think about. You I'm talking to you like you're a man, by the way, because I know that you are. You're strong enough to take this, all right? You contradicted yourself in this paragraph here, because on one note, you want people to come to you and you want to help them, don't you? And you feel bad because it's like the help that you're trying to give isn't really what they need, right? And you feel that. What you want to do is you want to help people. But then later you say that you don't want to burden anybody, which means you don't want to be helped by anybody either. Because you have to burden other people. You have to let them know what's going on. You have to talk to them about your issues for them to help you. And so if you're not willing to go to other people for them to help you, then why would they go to you for you to help them?
Mm.
It's a relationship. You both do your part. You can't expect to be everybody's help or anybody's help if you're not willing to be helped yourself. We learn from each other. We learn from these experiences. And there's a lot other people have to offer you when you share your burdens with them. Even if that's just consolation, you feel consoled and you feel re-energized about life. Um, Holding all that within you, but not accepting the help that is available to you out there. If you only give them a chance, um, the rest. I think it's important to share your burdens with other people. Not so that you can be a burden, not so you can push it off on other people and then like you take care of it, right? Obviously, you're not that kind of person. If you're worried about being a burden to other people, you're not that kind of person. But sharing those burdens with other people, more, and allowing them to help you, that's awesome. Like family, when you're close, when you love them, you don't care about the burdens that they have. You just look at them and say, "Oh, that's awful. I'm sorry for you. I wish you didn't have to go through that. Is there any way I can help?" You know, that's 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 family. That's love. That's good, right? That's healthy. And so you have to be that for other people, but you also have to allow other people to be that for you. Um, a lot of times we have problems in life receiving gifts. Um, but if we want to be able to give gifts to others, then we have to be willing to receive them. Because if we reject other people's gifts, then we're rejecting what they can give us. We're taking away their ability to feel that joy of giving a gift.
Mm.
Um, and we reduce the meaning of their gift. The part of life is that everything in life that we own, everything that we have is a gift. But it's not just a gift that we've been given, it's also a gift that we can share to others. Whether they be your talents, whether they be your wisdom, whether they be your body and the actions you can perform with it, whether it be your height or your shortness. And it could, it can be any number of things. Your life itself is a gift to be given to others. It's a gift because you didn't deserve it, you didn't earn it. It's just something you have. And that means it's a gift, right? And then you can take that gift and make it a gift to others. That's important because now you understand when someone else when you have a burden, right? You can allow other people to become gifts to you. You can give them that chance. And then you can strengthen your relationships through that. And there and you can give them a greater gift. You can increase their gift. Because what's interesting about human life is that we grow the more we give. The more we give away of ourselves, the more we give of ourselves, the stronger we become. The more we do for each other, the more we exert energy. Like, just like lifting weights, you gain weight by giving yourself to the, working hard and giving up energy,
Mhm.
and it tears your muscles. And so you're losing all of that. But then that becomes strength later as it rebuilds itself through gifts that come from what we eat. That's interesting. The world is made that way. But keep that in mind when you have that problem, when you feel like you're a burden, embrace that, because that's part of what makes a really flourishing relationship. And that's what makes life a gift. And that giving other people the opportunity to grow stronger in their gifts, and it can help you a whole lot to open up and to be that burden for other people to bear, um, and help. And you can grow so much through that, because they have things going on in their life that they learned about, just like we're here to do, share our experiences in our lives and share it with you. They have theirs, and you can grow through their advice or through their physical help or whatever they do, right? So being a burden, don't worry about it. That's what family's for. That's what love is for. That's what that's for. So don't worry about being a burden, okay? And for relationships, um, everybody's longing, especially in our world today, for an intimate relationship. When you withhold even something like what we're just talking about, being a burden, when you withhold that from a relationship, you don't increase the relationship, you make it weaker. And I know that sounds weird. It sounds almost backwards because you think, well, I don't want to trouble them. That will make my relationship worse because then they'll be troubled and then they'll just be upset, whatever. And then why would they want to be around me? But here's the thing. Um, we want that intimate relationship. And intimacy comes through closeness, right? Intimacy, another word for intimacy is closeness. We want that close relationship. And so we have to share our lives. One of the things that can create a great relationship is investing. When you invest time into their problems in life, you grow more attached to them, don't you? Imagine you have somebody that you're meeting and they ask you for advice. The instant they ask you for advice, you feel a stronger connection to them. You feel your relationship with them. You feel your attraction to them is stronger, is it not? You can do that same thing for other people by being the person asking for advice. When you ask for advice, that makes them feel like, wow, this person trusts me. When you ask them for advice, that makes them feel like, wow, this person's acknowledging me and calling me smart and that and valuable and like I like and validated. Like what I have to say, they actually want to listen to, and they think I can help them. You see what I'm saying? You ask people for help on things, that's a game changer. that is, I have suggested that to people because that's something you can do to help people out of their depression. Is just say, hey, you're smart. Can you help me with this problem? And you look at them and they've got hundreds of problems, right? And then you go to them and you're like, hey, I'm struggling with this. Can you help me? You seem like you know what's going on. Can you help me solve this problem? They're gonna feel so validated that they're just gonna be like, wow, this person thinks I'm amazing. What? Right? Um, and then when you can do that, you know what happens? They start asking you for advice and listening to what you have to say. It's a weird turn of events, but it's because when you ask me my advice, I feel like I can trust you more on yours. Isn't that weird? But it's true. So that's some of my best advice on this. There's a lot more here we can cover, I think. But I'm gonna let Joe have a go at some of this, and then maybe I'll talk a little bit more at the end. Maybe I won't. Maybe Joe will cover so much. He probably will. So yeah, we'll find out.
He can't.
Joe's smarter than I am. So
I
he's
don't know
definitely
if
gonna say
I'd go
something I
that
wouldn't.
far.
So at least, yeah, I'm gonna give it over to him. He's gonna tell you stuff that's even better than what I got. So go for it, Joe.
Well, that would be amazing if I could do that. We'll see. Well, I'll take a stab at it. We'll see. So all right. Epsilon, I saw in the chat that you said you had to go to work, and so I hope that you're able to come back and listen to this. These will be available there on YouTube. Obviously, you guys can come back and check the stream.
Haley, when he comes back from work, share this with him and put him on the marker that allows him to hear the rest of it.
You mean Kendra?
Sorry, Kendra, not Haley. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Kendra, if you could do that, that would be so awesome.
Yep, and Kendra's leaving too. Kendra has to go eat. So yeah. So Kendra and Epsilon, we will hopefully this will get to you. You can always come back and check it out on YouTube, and then you can also eventually it'll come out in as an individual topic on YouTube. Also as a podcast. For those of you who don't know, this is now a podcast as well. on Spotify, Podbean, iTunes, and Stitcher. You can find individual topics that are now podcast every week. So just to mention that. But anyway, Epsilon, everything that Ryan just was talking about is so important. And one thing, this situation reminds me of something that I went through very recently. And I remember this feeling of, it was just kind of I felt like I was an annoyance, or maybe I felt like maybe people were feeling used by my presence or something. Like, it was just, and there was like I felt like a person of lower value because all this was going on. And it was weird. So sometimes I would feel like a stray dog, or like you said in your post, like a dull, broken doll. And that sums up what I was feeling like. And it was very interesting. There's I ended up getting some validation because there's a priest that I go to regularly for confession, and then I also have met with him a handful of times, just and talked to him for a while in his office, and we talked about different stuff and everything, and I actually had to come to him because I felt he was one of the main people that I was feeling like I was using. I felt like an overtalker. I felt like these conversations that I had where if I didn't want him to feel like I was just using his time and all that. And so I actually ran into him and I asked him. I said, "Hey, have there been times when I've been annoying to you or felt like burdensome or anything like that, you know? And he got this look on his face like what are you talking about? Like and I'm like, okay, so I guess maybe not. And he said, why would you even think that? And I said, well, I just think back to some of our conversations, and I feel like sometimes I tend to be an over talker, and I just I felt like I've been an annoyance or a burden to you. And he said, you know what? I think that's the accuser talking to you in your ear. And in that moment, that was just a quick little reminder that, you know what? There is an accuser. I don't know if you're a religious person or not. But I mean, sometimes you can see it in movies. We all have these kind of two voices. We have these two little guys sitting on our shoulder. One's an angel and one's a little devil, and they're talking to us good or bad or whatever, right? And that can all be going on in our mind. We've got these two different voices, and what's happening is, sounds like this voice of defeat, this voice of accusation is going on in your head. And yes, your parents are going through a whole bunch of stuff. Your girlfriend is going through a bunch of stuff. Your brother's going through a bunch of stuff. Everybody's going through stuff. And you know what? You're probably going through a bunch of stuff yourself. A lot of times, everybody's going through stuff. And we're all trying to figure it out. We're all trying to get through it. We're all trying to make the best of our situation and love the people around us and be good for the people around us and be good to the people around us. And I know what you feel like, Epsilon. I know. I just read this sentence in your post. It says, I guess I wonder sometimes if I'm just a burden to my loved ones, and they just won't tell me directly because they don't want to hurt my feelings. That right there, that's that voice of defeat in your head running its mouth. And it goes on and it goes on and it goes on, and it makes us feel worthless, and it makes us feel useless. We just feel so powerless. And that voice can take over and be the loudest voice in your head until you realize, wait a minute, that's just a voice in my head. That's not me. That's not necessarily real. That's not even a true statement, because you can do some of the things that Ryan was talking about. Or you can also, like, if you make yourself available for people, if you're just there with people, you don't necessarily have to say anything, but you're just there. Mm-hmm. And you smile.
Mm-hmm.
There was this kid, you know what? This is amazing. There was this kid in my school. I don't think I ever heard him say more than like 7 or 8 words. And anytime he ever said anything, he was really quiet. Really quiet. He said things. But most of the time, he just stood and he'd look at you and he'd smile. Or he'd be there. He'd be hanging around a bunch of people and he'd smile. And when someone said something funny, he'd laugh. But he was just there. And like I said, I hardly ever heard him say anything. But he was regarded as one of the coolest, most awesome people in the whole school, just because, and everybody loved him because he just was there. And he didn't say anything that offended people. He didn't hardly say anything at all. He was just there. And he was there with a smile, and he was there with a welcome look on his face, and he was there with a look that said, I'm just glad to be around you. And that can mean so much to people. I had a friend recently, this was close to a year ago. that his son passed away. He was a good friend of mine that I had worked with for a long time, and then he moved away, and I hadn't seen him or talked to him for a while, and I noticed that his son had died. Somebody had posted on Facebook, and then it got back to me, because I hardly ever get on Facebook. So this message got back to me that my friend's son had passed away, and so I called him. And he answered, and I said, "Hey, man, I just saw the news. I'm so sorry." And he was there, and he was talking to me and stuff. And I said, "Man, I'm really sorry. I don't really have words to say. I don't even know what to say." And he said the most profound thing. He said, "Joe, sometimes it's not anything you say. It's just the fact that you're there." And I remember that caught me, and it reminded me of this other friend I had in high school. It reminded me of those moments when I didn't say much of anything. We don't have to say anything when we're around. I noticed in your post, it said every time I try to speak to any of them, it will just make things worse. That's what it says you're afraid of in here, Epsilon. And I know that too. So sometimes we don't necessarily need to say anything. Sometimes we just are there, and people can be there and say the things they need to say, talk about the things they need to talk about. And we just sit and listen and smile and be welcoming. And our presence will speak so much more than our words ever could. Just the fact that we're there, and we exude the feeling of love for others. And here's the problem that we face, every single one of us. We get into this thought pattern like you're in, and like I was in recently, and it's because we're thinking about ourselves too much. We're too self-conscious. We're too conscious of ourselves. And the key is to change our focus from ourselves to that other person or those other people that are with us, and focus on them. Focus on what they're saying. Focus on how they're feeling. Focus on what can I do to help them. Focus on that type of stuff. When we're focused outward on other people, these feelings that you have, these self-conscious feelings of being a burden, that all melts. It melts away into nothing. And then you're there. You're there as a servant. You're there serving these other people's needs just by being there. And you won't have to worry about whether you said or did the right thing, because what you did was you sat there and loved them. And that will speak so much louder, and it will mean so much more to them. And they will totally not think of you as a burden. They will totally not think of you as an annoyance. They will think of you as a hero. They will think of you as someone who was there at a time when they needed someone to be there. And they will think of you as one of the coolest guys around. There's a great quote that said, oh man, I can't even remember it, but it was something to the effect of, when I'm around these people, I feel like I'm an idiot, so I better not open my mouth and confirm it.
Oh my. Yeah. I think I've done that way too many times.
So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut so that my idiotness doesn't come out. But at any rate, that just being there for people and not even necessarily saying anything, that is so important. and meaningful to others. So I hope that you can learn how to do a little bit more of that, just like I'm learning, to sit there and listen and focus on others. And our lives just seem to go so much better that way. So I don't know if that was any better than what Ryan had to say. In fact, I think Ryan had a lot more better stuff, more better.
No, Mo better. No, yours was perfect. I'm going to let it end on that note. That was awesome.
Well, awesome. So thank you, Epsilon. And I'm sorry that you had to go.
Yeah.
So I really hope that gets to you. So anyway, wow, we are at that point, you guys, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate every one of you being here.
Same.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for your kind words.
Who?
Wow.
I wish I could see. Unfortunately, my phone just died about 2 minutes ago.
It did.
Yeah.
Kay said, CDVNL, what you say is always great. So
yes, that's so true. That's so true.
I really just hope that I make a difference for whoever's listening. I hope that something I can reflect on has an impact. So that's why we do this show, and that's why we do it Wednesdays and Fridays. Now, this coming Friday, we may have a substitute.
Yes.
For Ryan. Ryan may be in traveling mode on Friday. So we still plan on doing the stream, but it'll be me and
Mystery Meat. No, just kidding.
Whether it's Ryan or another person. Mystery Meat, did you say?
I know. I did say meat, but I promise you that this person has meat in their body. Just by but we know that it's human meat, so I guess it's not really mystery, but it's a mystery to who they are. So
yes, Snowlock Holmes found the quote. Here's the quote. I googled it. Good. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak and remove all doubt. Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
Akil, I can tell you it most likely won't be Kyle, because Kyle and Ryan will be in the same vehicle traveling together.
Yep.
So yeah, so it will be somebody, and we'll see who it is on Friday, and yeah, it'll be good. But either way,
I'll try to
guys,
tune in a little bit if I can. I really want to see how that one goes, and if it's so good, I might just retire. I'm just kidding. Don't worry. I guess I'll be back in picture in video format next week.
Yes. So. Yes.
Sorry about the inconvenience.
Ryan's face, not just on a shower curtain, for those of you who missed it.
Oh, we could have put that as the video feed.
There it is again.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Did you put it on the video feed? If you did, I love you.
Jesse, you can do that. Jesse,
it'll take Jesse time. Don't worry about it.
Oh man, it'd be great. Yeah, maybe next time. But yes. So anyway, go to bss.studio and become a part of the community. Feel free, if you have any issues that come up, you know where to go. You can go to bss.studio on the questions and topics from the live stream. Right here, boom. And you can post there. You can send us an email, dww@bss.studio, or you can post in the chat, or go to, I don't know, post it on a Discord somewhere.
Talk to Princess or anybody. Yeah.
Yep.
Not that I want to make Princess have to get all of those messages. You can message me on Discord if you so desire, and tell me if you want it to be anonymous or not. There's all sorts of different ways you can get in touch with us, and we hope you do.
Oh my gosh, dude! We got one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 6 new topics in the last hour.
You serious?
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Wow.
Yes, thank you, guys. We're gonna have to start shortening our responses so we can get more of these in.
Yeah, we need to shorten them down to like 2 minutes each.
Yep. So.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
So anyway, thank you guys so much for being here, and we'll see you next time. Come back on Friday, see who the mystery guest is. And OK says we're at a 3rd stream. Don't think that we haven't considered that.
Oh, we have considered that.
We have considered it.
But as it stands right now, time is not of the essence.
Right.
We don't have. Well, I might, but Joe certainly doesn't have the time for that. So, someday, yes. Yes.
Yep. We'll have to figure out that. So anyway, but we'll get there. It'll be good. And at the moment, we'll keep trucking along, and we're just so thankful for all of you guys that are here. We're thankful for all you guys that are posting and having topics, and we're so thankful that you're willing to post the things that are challenging you, because it takes guts.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So you guys are awesome. And yeah, in the meantime, go to bss.studio.
Yeah, why not?
Do it. It'll be good.
Do it. All right.
See you next time, guys.
Much love. See you guys.